Hey, I'm talking with Eva today. She is a 12th grade student in our My Tech High program. Eva, thanks for joining me. How long have you done My Tech High for?
Um, I don't remember, but since I was 12. So at least 5 years, if not longer.
That's amazing. Before that, did you homeschool or did you attend public school?
So I attended public school through second grade, and then I started homeschooling, and then I remember probably when I was 10, actually, my mom introduced us to My Tech High because she had met with some other women who were talking about it, who were homeschool moms, and that's when we started. So before that, I was kind of homeschooled for like a year or two, and then before that, I was public schooled.
Awesome. So, have you taken advantage of some of our direct courses at My Tech High? Or what kinds of things have you taken advantage of?
Yeah, so as far as direct courses go, I took a graphic design and art class where I got to learn how to use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator to create my own art and design and make logos and utilize things for business as well. And that was a super cool class. And then I've also used the funds for a lot of other classes as well. So I've taken a ton of classes.
That's awesome. So, I hear you have started a few businesses. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, sure. So the big one that my whole family is kind of all centered on and has always done is a bread business. So it's gone by many different names. Currently, it's called the Biking Bakers, and I am creating a website for my younger brother who is running it and doing all the baking and stuff. But that one was a design because my family makes bread kind of differently than a lot of people. We use like a natural yeast starter to make bread, and like we do a lot of sourdough and things like that. And it's really delicious. So that was like the first big business that I started with. Well, my mom started it and then she handed it down to us because she couldn't do it anymore because being a homeschool mom makes it hard to do things like that sometimes. So then my older brother took it on, and then me and my brother Ezra took it on, and then my younger brother is doing it now, but I'm helping him with all of the technology stuff. Because of that graphic design course, I can design websites and stuff now.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
That's so fun. So you've helped your brother do that one. Is there
Mhm.
others that you have started?
Yeah. So, another one, this one was a little more simple. It was kind of funny. I don't know that this one ever really took off. It was much less of like intended to sell things and much more of just me utilizing the fact that I was different as a homeschooler and stuff. So it was more of a blog, I guess. And that one was a blog about theater and random audition tips, as well as insights on life and things like that. And I was working on a podcast, and it kind of flopped because I hit the end of the school year when I finally figured it all out. Then I was like, it's summer, I'm done.
That's great.
And then I'm currently working on one, and that is teaching voice lessons. Because one of the ways that I have utilized my Tech High funding is to take voice lessons. That's a big thing I do is sing. And so now I'm at the point where I can teach. So I'm just starting to teach actually. I just released my Facebook page and advertising and stuff this week. So yeah,
Well, congratulations. That is amazing.
thank you.
That's awesome. So you mentioned a few things that you do maybe outside of My Tech High. You voice lessons and singing. What other things do you do when you're not learning and creating business?
Yeah, speech and debate is a big one for me. I am a huge debate nerd. I love speech and debate and stuff. I also dance. So I just had auditions for the Nutcracker this last week, and the cast list comes out today. We'll see what happens.
Yay, I can't wait to
Um,
hear.
and then obviously I sing, graphic design, all kinds of things. Honestly, I did architecture for a while, and filmmaking, basically everything that was available to me that I could possibly do, I've done. I also write and uh do a lot of reading, just a bunch of random stuff. I'm just basically a nerdy kind of a kid.
No, you sound fabulous. That's amazing. I love how you talked about your My Tech High funding, how you've used that. Is there anything else that you've utilized the funding for, like any other special classes that you have loved or anything?
Yeah, actually. So it's kind of fun. We've learned to utilize it for just about everything we can to help us progress in our schooling. So I think the biggest thing for me has always been singing. That is a huge deal to me because that's what I want to go into. I want to be a professional vocal performer. And I love that My Tech High has allowed me to have the training to do that. It also helped pay for ballet. It paid for driver's ed for me last year so that I could learn how to drive. I again took a filmmaking class. I took an architectural design class. I've designed multiple buildings. Not that any of them have been built, but I designed them at least. So that was fun. Graphic design, trying to think, a lot of different things. Man, it's been a lot of years. Actually, we're looking into currently doing, oh shoot, I'm trying to remember what it is. There's a lot of things that we've done with My Tech High funds with my family. This computer that I'm on right now, interviewing with you, was because of My Tech High funds.
I love that like you've done so many different things. Like it's so awesome how many options you have had. So after you're in your 12th grade year, right? So after you finish the program this year, what are your plans?
Go to college. I don't know how specific you want me to get, but hopefully my goal is to go to a college here in Utah and study vocal performance here and get my bachelor's degree in vocal performance. And then the goal is to possibly transfer to a school in New York, like New York School of Music or Juilliard, to get my master's and then become a professional opera singer is the end goal. So I'm a little ambitious, but
That
that
is
is,
absolutely incredible. What awesome goals. And guess what? You're gonna crush them because you are amazing. So
thank you.
you will do wonderful things. Thank you so much for sharing about your My Tech High experience with us today. It's been really fun to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Hello, I'm here today with Ember Wood. She is a 12th grade student in our My Tech High program. Ember, thanks for being here with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Ember, how long have you been in the My Tech High program?
I believe this will be my 4th year. So yeah.
Awesome. And did you do homeschooling before or public school?
Yeah, so I only did public school in kindergarten, and then I just been homeschooled until about 8th grade, and then that's when I started to transfer more to an online program. But yeah.
Awesome. That's so great. So you have a lot of years of experience. So have you ever taken advantage of some of the homeroom resources or direct courses through My Tech High?
Yeah, so I mostly use the homeroom resources, mainly just the video resources to help me with subjects like science and math, just to learn a little bit more in those areas. And I enjoyed having those resources being free to me because a lot of the resources that we had before we joined My Tech High, we had to pay a monthly tuition for those. So I appreciated having the option to explore a little bit more of those resources and have those as options that we could use in our daily learning. So yeah.
That's so great. So what kind of classes did you take throughout your years at My Tech High?
So for My Tech High, I mostly chose the third-party options for about my first 2 years, I would say. I mostly just did like third-party like theater and dance classes. I did take a few of the My Tech High offered classes, like I had taken Makerspace for a semester. I believe they offered a speech and debate that I took for a year. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. Mostly I've just been taking the early college credit online options for I'd say the past 3 years, and I really enjoyed that as well.
That is so great. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who your homeroom teacher is, by the way?
I just got a new one and I feel really bad. I don't know their name yet. But yeah, I know that I have a new one. I just forgot
That's
who they
impressive
are.
that you know you have a new one. So
Yeah.
you have to check in with your homeroom teacher once a week, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
does she give you feedback or how do you communicate with her?
So usually in my past experiences, I'll just like type out a little bit of summary of what I had learned that week, something that stood out to me, maybe an experience I had outside of school, or maybe an experience I had through school that I was able to implement into my daily learning. And I would just kind of write that out. She would give me some feedback like, oh, I really like that. That was really cool. And sometimes they would recommend ideas of where I could go, like they'd say, oh, the butterfly biosphere is open at Thanksgiving Point, or they'd give me like kind of options of stuff that I could do to further my learning, or if I had mentioned that I like something, Like I think a couple years ago, I was into astronomy a lot. One of my homeroom teachers recommended me going to the planetarium in Salt Lake. Yeah, so they're just there to recommend things and give you options, kind of help you along the way, and also give you some feedback on what you're doing and just how they can help you on your educational journey.
That's awesome. So when you aren't doing online classes, what do you like to do outside of school?
Outside of school, I mostly do artistic sports, like I do dance. Lately I've been into competitive and modern dancing. So I've been into like more what's it called? Contemporary and modern. I as my senior year, I'm only taking one class a week that's about 4 hours. And we're just gonna do some modern festivals. We're gonna compete a little bit. We're filming our modern piece for the Utah Film Festival, so I'm really excited for that. In the past, I've done more classical ballet, and yeah, it's been really fun.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Ember, what is one benefit that the MyTech High program has provided you?
So as a homeschool student, something I really struggled with going into homeschool was structure and finding the structure that I needed, because I have siblings that were homeschooled alongside me, and we all had different learning styles. So my mom kind of had to figure out what was best for each of us. And I was into a very like structured learning style, where my siblings were a little bit more like visual and like a little bit more like a flexible integrated learning style. But I liked a lot of structure. And so when we joined MyTech High, I really liked the idea of structuring my schedule while also having the flexibility to decide what I wanted to do, but adding structure to my unique learning style. But yeah.
That is amazing. I like that you brought up the fact that like everyone's learning style is different, right? But you can customize it and personalize it to what works best for you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Awesome. Okay, so after you finish the MyTech High program this year, what's your plans for afterwards?
So I don't have a really concrete plan for what I want to do. But I am right now, I think I mentioned it before, I'm working towards my associates with SNHU. So I plan to get that at the end of this year, well, in May at the end of the school year. And then I would like to start applying to other colleges that I could go to. I don't exactly know where I want to go, but I do know that I want to study something in the science field, whether it's like a softer science like psychology, or I've also been into physics and astronomy in the past, so I thought of doing something like that. I'm kind of using this year to decide where I want to go and what I want to do, but I'm really excited to have the option to get those early college credits, so that when I decide which college I want to go to, I will have the credits to sort of help me along in that path.
That is amazing. You're going to do wonderful things, Ember. Thank you so much for sharing about your experience at MyTech High.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
MyTech High has been such a great help for me in my teenage years. We joined when I was like 11, 12-ish, I think, and it's helped me so much to keep on learning and growing, because it's been able to give my family the ability to access resources that we wouldn't have had normally, like books and science lessons and different educational programs and classes, and it's been able to make my learning so much better and deeper. There's so many highlights from being in MyTech High. For instance, when I was like 13, I believe, I joined this makerspace class. It was an in-person class, and we're able to meet weekly and just experiment with building things and being creative and putting ourselves out there to create something new. And it was such a great class for me. And another highlight is also all of the social activities I was able to do with other people in MyTech High. For instance, during COVID, during 2020, I joined this online. For instance, during COVID, during 2020, MyTech High started all these virtual clubs for different activities, and I joined an esports club for doing online video game tournaments, and it was so much fun. We did Super Smash Bros. Was the one I participated in. And while I was pretty terrible at it, I did have a lot of fun to be able to connect with people online during a really hard time. Another highlight that stands out is probably, I think it was last year, MyTech High had a park day where we got together in person with a bunch of other students that were involved in the program, and that was so much fun. For me especially, because I got there and all the younger kids were doing their own thing and having fun, and all the grown-ups and parents were all doing their thing and talking and whatnot. But all the teenagers were kind of just sitting there, not quite sure what to do exactly. So I came in and I'm like, these are all fun people. And so we had I ended up starting this huge game where I brought these foam swords and I made up this entire game. And it was so much fun. With just involving all the teenagers, and it was great. And then all the kids were noticed. They're like, oh, I want to join, and they joined in too. And then even some of the grown-ups even joined in too. It was so much fun to be able to connect with them all in that way. So yeah, My Tech High has just been so great for me. It's helped increase the quality of my education. It's helped me get into higher learning levels, and it's helped me to connect with more homeschool kids that are like me. They're just homeschooled and are just trying to have a great education. And that's why I highly recommend My Tech High for anyone, especially for homeschool teens like me.